Surat Aboriginal Corporation has been incorporated since 2000. We exist to support and strengthen our Indigenous communities through the facilitation of programs and activities that will improve physical and mental health, promote cultural identity, advance early childhood development, and in turn improve the overall well-being of our Indigenous people in southwest Queensland.
So we're based in Surat in Queensland. We're about 540 kilometres away from Brisbane, and there's about 600 people located in Surat. The organisation was founded by my mum, Angie Walsh. She started it in 1998 in her office, very, very small corporation when it first began. She was very passionate about her culture, about the family history, about not being able to celebrate our culture with the community, and she wanted a place for, or a corporation where Indigenous people could come and get support through the, all aspects of their lives, which it hasn't been around for a really long time in Surat. So she really wanted to create a place and a corporation where that could happen. And then it's just grown and grown and grown, bigger and better. And now we have my mum, and now we have, she's passed away, but I've taken on that role. And we have 4 employees now that, service the Southwest. So I guess, for the corporation to grow and be as successful as it is today, there has been quite a few people that we've had to thank. So obviously my mum, Angie Walsh, she was the person that began the vision of the corporation, but then there was also Marlon McInerney. Her and my mum were best friends when it all began, and Marlon was the one that kind of supported my mum to actually start the corporation. So without Marlon, I don't think this would have happened. And then we've had a lot of people that have also supported it through other organisations, other Indigenous community members, such as my aunties. They're the directors of the corporation. Without the directors, we wouldn't have a corporation. Community members that support the organisation with our projects. The funding body is also really important, and a lot of the other towns. So the key stakeholders that support our events in the Murray, which is a network of Indigenous organisations and community members that come together. They're very supportive of the corporation, and we wouldn't do what we do without them either. Barriers, there has been quite a few for the corporation. We are a very small organisation. We're a standalone organisation. We're not with the health service. We run and facilitate programs and events for the Indigenous communities. We're funded by NIIA, which is through PMC. So obviously funding is one of our biggest barriers. Trying to do what we do with just us 4. It is literally just us 4 servicing the Southwest. Travel is, a really big barrier too. It's, trying to get our staff to go to each community and making sure that we're trying to do the best we can for, each community, but it's really hard to try and get out there with, the distance that we do have to travel. And I guess just trying to have the funding to do these programs, because, we do quite a lot. Chloe, she does the children and schooling program. She does the playgroup, the homework club, the breakfast club, multiple other programs. So trying to get the funding and then service the communities, which is Roma, Yulma, Wallumbilla, Surat, Mitchell. So we support 5 communities with multiple programs with the funding that we have. It can be a barrier, but the strengths that we have is that the community support us. They love to see our programs. They love to see what we can offer them and how we're trying to support them, and it's all about the community and wanting to make it better for them in any way we can.
At the moment, NBN isn't connected in Surat, but we are more than looking forward to upping our streaming services, as we are in such a rural community, is a lot more delayed.
Previously, we actually had a media advisor, so they actually would do all our media pages. But recently, us as the SAC team have taken on that role and are now controlling our Facebook pages. And so within that, we actually have our 3 different pages for the areas and aspects of where we focus.
I think what works best with our corporation is that we do have a good following, and we do have what would you call them, our top fans, I guess. So they really do try and like our stuff, and they comment and they share our posts, and they're the ones that get us out there. So that really does work, and I think we're kind of still feeling our feet, with what works and what doesn't work out social media, because we really don't know. But I think with the assistance through, our last media person, with the workshops that we have been attending, it's given us and upskilled us to say, okay, this is what's working. But also we really have been starting to get a bit of feedback, face-to-face feedback and written feedback from our community. Say, hey guys, have you seen our page? Are you liking this? Would you like to see more content? So that's something that we've been kind of doing behind the scenes, is to actually get the feedback to see what's working and what's not, and what they're viewing. And I guess, the publishing tools on Facebook's been really helpful too. We kind of go on there and see, how many likes did this post get? Didn't get much. So what are we doing? Like, where do we need to, up our game with our social media? But I think, we're starting to, develop our skills with our social media content on Facebook. But I think for me as the manager, we definitely need to take it to the next level and do some other like Instagram and stuff like that to broaden our followers. Yeah.
Well, we tag a lot of our clients that come to these certain events.
We share it to a page, our personal Facebook page, because then my friends will see it and we spread it like that. And also just kind of keeping them updated and saying, hey guys, don't forget there's basketball on this afternoon. I guess we do kind of also use groups. So there's which is the youth engagement program group, where we share that to their pages and their groups and stuff like that, because we don't just like to use our Facebook page. We like to send it out to all the other groups too, which I think works at the moment. We began learning how to use online strategies through our media consultant that we previously had. We did a couple of workshops with her because it was all new to us, especially learning the hashtags and the how to get the likes up, and how do we, because we really weren't getting much engagement with the comments. I mean, everyone's real quick to scroll and like. But we really wanted to hear from our clients, did you like the program? Didn't you like the program? We wanted the feedback. We wanted to see, was this something that was benefiting our community, our clients, and we weren't really receiving that. So I think that, those workshops were good, but now we're starting to, I think it's really just more hands-on. So we all have our own little pages and groups that we have to use through social media, and kind of just experimenting with what works, what doesn't, but going to workshops like the digital raw workshops, but they're great. It kind of just gives us that upskilling and in-depth kind of knowledge of, hashtags. Don't use too many, do use too much, those things. They're really beneficial too. I guess it can be quite tricky with the location that we are at the moment, because we have to travel around. We don't have the best service for our social media, but I think it's okay, because we are only an hour away, or a couple of hours away from where we do have to travel to. But yeah, I think that it can be tricky for where we are located. So some of the barriers, apart from the technology side of things, that I have found is that women are our top audience. That's on social media and in our programs. They're more willing to come to our programs, to come to our events, to comment on our social media. They're the ones that are kind of leading that aspect of things, but we really are trying to focus and have specific programs for the men. So Maddie, can you quickly just talk about your basketball?
Yes, I run the after-school basketball at the Roma PCYC, which is fantastic. We've been able to partner with the local PCYC in the area to be able to use the venue to allow kids that sometimes might not get the opportunity to play basketball to come in, play, have a go at a sport that they might not try. And it's fantastic to get those kids in and really teach them how to play basketball, get to know them, teach them some life skills about teamwork and how to be in the team. And that's really great. It's a really great program to get them involved with.
With the men, it's just trying to figure out a way to break that barrier or, reduce the barrier, because with the social media aspect, this is how we get our reach, this is how we find our feedback, and we want to find a way for the guys to kind of like comment and say, we're coming to basketball today, or, hey guys, it'd be great if we could do this for our program. So it's just trying to find a way to kind of reach them and engage them a bit better through our social media, like we did with the ladies.
Very important.
I think word of mouth is very important, hey? I think that we can use social media all we want, but I think it's about building relationships. I think it's about building trust. And I know through social media, like, I'll scroll and I'm like, oh, that's cute. But if I really want to engage our clients, if I want to build a relationship, if I want people to actually physically be at these programs and attend, which is what we need them to do.
That personal touch.
Yeah. We have to make a relationship with them. We have to kind of say, hey guys, how are you going? How's Sydney going? How is the family going? We want to have that face-to-face interaction and say, hey, by the way, Maddie's goes basketball this afternoon, is Tommy going to come? We need to be able to say, hey guys, give us that feedback and do the face-to-face interaction, because it's just so important.
But also with the word of mouth too, it's keeping the connection within our Indigenous communities.
Exactly.
Well, during COVID especially, it was the biggest thing that was running for programs, because we had shut down. So social media kept going for those few months.
Yeah. Social media, I guess, definitely was just so important for us as a corporation through COVID. Like 2020 was just so different for us. We really had to step up our game with the social media aspect of stuff. We had to do a lot more online content because we weren't allowed to travel to the communities. So that was our way of reaching out to our community and trying to support them and be there for them as much as possible through social media, by doing some videos and all that. So, but I mean, in general, like, social media is important to us because, like I said, we travel to all these communities and we just can't be everywhere at all times. So I guess it's just a way for us to go, guys, we're thinking about you. We might be in Strat today, but everyone else, we want to say, we are thinking about you guys and we're going to get out to Roma next week. Can't wait to visit the community. Yeah, so it is really important for us.
So using our platform for other issues where we can actually share across information from other organisations, which could include, from the South West Hospital Service, for instance, and sharing important issues or concerns that are happening in the communities now. So that's a really, really good platform for us.
Like the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
That was something that we've never done before. But we felt it was very important to support that, campaign. So, we done a little article on that. We wanted to share that. So that was really good for us. Yeah. I guess for me, the tips and hints or advice that I'd like to give, people who are doing the social media stuff is really just know your clients, know your community, and kind of work with what that is. Don't try and follow this big, gigantic, organisation and go, oh, that's exactly what we need to do because they're getting all these followers. Be friendly and welcoming, because that's what I like to see, when I'm on social media. If it's like this big 20-page, post, I'm not going to read it. I don't really want to have time for that when I'm finishing work. So it's just finding out what works for your clients and go with that. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think a tip and hint that I have is to be really, really organised and have your post scheduled. So with me, I actually have my whole term for scheduled on Canva, so I've created everything on Canva, and that goes straight to Facebook, and I actually don't have to worry about that for that whole term.
Don't be afraid to try something new as well. During COVID, we pushed the boundaries as far as we could. We didn't say no to really anything. We tried everything, especially with that Facebook Live with the play group. We're always trying something new every week to try and improve it, get more engagement with it. I did a few Facebook Live with service providers, especially from Queensland Health, about nutrition during COVID, getting the exercises in with an exercise physiologist. So I did a few of those just to give information out during the tough times of COVID, so people could just have that information for them there permanently, even after the Facebook Live had ended. I know Chloe with her play group as well, she tried more than a few things as well.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I did find it very, very challenging. We were all new to this at the time, so this is the first Facebook Live I've ever done, and it was very, very awkward to get in front of the camera and to do a Facebook Live with no one actually talking back to you. But we found and we come across that barrier, and we just assisted our Indigenous community however we could.